Hey everyone, welcome back to Dink and Dissect. On this channel, we do a full match analysis where we focus specifically on shot selection, court positioning, and the decisions that actually win or lose pickleball games. Big shout out to Austin Pickleball for letting us use this match. This is a 3.0 to 3.5 gold medal match. You can see the original video linked down below. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so just looking at these dupers real quick, this should be a pretty evenly matched game. There are two players at under 3.0 and two players slightly above it. Just by looking at these dupers, this player in the near court on the right side should be the best player on the court. Let's see how this plays out. So first of all, I like that high looping return. It gives him plenty of time to get up to the net. He seems like he's a young athletic guy, so he doesn't need all that time. But still, another advantage of this high looping return is that you are forcing your opponent to create all the pace on this shot. And by that, at this level, you get a lot of shots that go straight into the net when you are forcing your opponent to drive. So we love this. I would continue to do that high looping return. Good serve, mid-court return. That drop was a little high, and then that's what happens. He's able to really hit right down on this ball. I would have loved to see this ball go a little bit toward the corner. Make him hit that with his backhand. So one thing I'm noticing right away, this player is able to take it out of the air, but what should happen, Austin should have moved up to the midcourt with his partner instead of hanging back there. Going for the slice drop or reset. That was a good drive. Good defense. Something I like right here, he's putting two hands on the paddle when he's countering this. This block doesn't have a lot on it with the two hands, but the idea is correct there. That looked like it was a mix between a drive and a drop. That could have been dangerous if it got over. So again, I like the looping return. His partner has noticed that he had a mishit when it was long and he had to create all the pace by himself. Let's see what happens here. He lobs it up. So good job by this player just living to see one more point, getting that ball over and playing the point out. Again, they still weren't able to get up to the net. Another quick side out. You like that. Again, you've heard me say it in multiple videos beforehand, but that is the worst thing you can do in pickleball, and at this level, it happens quite a bit. An easy way to win more games is to just start shoring that up. Make sure you get your returns inbounds. I like that serve. So one thing I want to point out here, it really stood out to me. So we're really going to dissect this drop attempt. I don't like how he's hitting this. I don't like that form. So an easy fix here is to clean up the form. You should be hitting a drop, if that's what you were going for, is a drop. You should be hitting that near your knee and pushing it forward instead of trying to hit it and get a perfect shot over the net. That isn't very repeatable. You want repeatable movements so you can continue to get into the net over and over and over. It does end up working for them. It is able to bounce, and they are able to get to the midcourt. And with that, able to get another point. Good job. Let's look at this. Maybe that is just his form. Okay, this was a little bit better. He's going from low to high. Again, I would like to see a little bit more pronation on that wrist, but he is able to make it bounce, and look at where his partner's at. They're both coming in with their paddles up. I like this. Just a little execution error. That's a good serve. Way to attack that line. I really like this attack. This is something I like to do in my game too, is go down the line. Look at where he's at. He's still moving. There's a lot of open court here, and he has to cover that with his backhand while reaching. Good attack. Off to a quick start. I like that. Look at this. Great shot. So just gets it over. They are moving up to the kitchen. this is a pop-up. This is something that needs to be put away. As you continue to progress in the level, you will start putting those away. What happened here? So the player drives it. You don't need to be adding a lot of flair to this. If he's driving it and it's a good shot, which this was, evidenced by you were hitting it below the level of the net, you need to go ahead and just hold your paddle there, let your paddle do the work. I'm not sure exactly which paddle you're using. From this angle, it looks like a Yola Pro 4. Those are known for resets. So go ahead and stick your paddle out. He's providing the pace. The player that just drove that is providing the pace. Let the paddle do the work, get it over, and just get back up to the kitchen. He's able to put that one away. I like these returns. Plenty of time to get established to the kitchen. You are and you're returning it to this player, making him hit a shot, which he has not hit 2 good shots in a row on these third shots. That is 3 shots in a row. I would continue every single time returning to this player in red. There we go. Have a drive that goes good. Great point. So something I do not like here. Backing up and hitting this isn't great. I get that you needed to move the angle, but you need to start getting back up there. You should not be playing from the midcourt. You should, as much as you can, hold your ground at the kitchen. That goes into the net, and he's not able to punish that. When you create a space that's uneven with your partner, you leave a lot of angles open that the opponents can attack. And trust me, as you move up in skill level, they will attack that. Just out of bounds. Good try. Off to a good start here. I like that two-handed drive. Good job. So they weren't able to get that point or that ball back over, but look at where their paddles are at. Their paddles are down. They know that this is probably going to be an aggressive shot. Good job by this player putting it away. Okay, so this is something I do in my games too. A serve sometimes goes into the net. That you have to factor that into the budget, especially if you want to serve big, which I highly recommend because the rewards can outweigh the risks. So if you have a big serve game, they're probably not going to be able to return it too well. I like to give myself 2 serves that I can miss, and if I miss those 2, I am done serving big, and I am just going to get them in the court. So I like what he's going for there. He's going for power and pace. So this player has now been 1 for 4. That was a good drive, making Alston hit up on the ball and not being able to handle that power. That's a good serve. So this is why you serve big. Let's look at this real quick. Big serve. Look at where this ball lands. It lands maybe a foot or 2 in front of or behind the kitchen line. This player has a lot of options. He's still way back. Let's see where he's at contact. There's a lot of space here. He shoots it at Alston. You want to shoot it to the player in the back. When someone's back and you have the chance to hit them, keep them back as long as possible. It goes into the net. They're able to get that point anyway. It's turning into a tight game. It's a little too far. So what do we know? This player in the red is going to continue to drive. Let's see how Alston and his teammate handle this. Will they fight this with power or will they try to play a slow game? So this player is a banger. I think every single time he has driven. He's pretty good at the net too and just out of bounds. Okay, so that was the second miss by Alston. At this point, you can't give away any more free points. You need to start just getting it in the court. That doesn't matter how you do it. If that's a high, loopy serve, you just need to start getting them in the court. Just a little bit far there. I really like these returns because even though that was a good drive, look at where they're at when he makes contact. He's contacting the ball right here. They are both established at the kitchen. Even if it's a great drive, they should be able to parry or block that back and be ready for the next shot. Which it was. They definitely have the advantage. They are both established, and these guys are not. Oh, just a little bit far. So you live with that. Something with bangers is I haven't kept track of it. Maybe at this point it's three shots that have worked out for him and 3 shots that haven't. But if you keep doing those high loopy returns, I would continue returning to this guy. He seems to be the best player on the court. You want to keep him back for as long as possible. And you know that his drives work sometimes and they don't. You like those odds 50-50. Yeah, he is just firing away from all spots. They're both driving a lot. Yeah, so let's look at this. Even from the midcourt, he is firing away. Yeah, he is at the midcourt. With how big of a swing he's taking, you don't even need to put your paddle out. I would see if that's staying in or not. I get it can be tough at 4-7, but something to keep track of. I like this drop attempt. Let's look at this form real quick. So he gets up high, but the idea is there. You can see this ball is coming in with a lot of topspin, and that would have been trouble if it got over. But the thing with that is, even though it may work sometimes, it's very hard to repeat this type of drop. There's too many moving factors, too many variables. Okay, so he does it again there, and it works out for him. He is able to take that out of the air, but you can see how much topspin he's able to generate with that. Again, like I said just a second ago, it's very hard to make this a repeatable pattern. Man, beautiful shot right here. So what happens? A slice drop, a slice reset, and they are able to almost get into the kitchen off of that. He gives him a clap because that was a great shot. Good job trying to get that over. That was a great serve. You take that. Perfect. Good defense there. And this player is very aggressive. What do you do with aggressive players? Where would I start hitting it? I would start hitting it to his left side as much as you can. Make him stay true to his side. A lot of time the misconception is, oh, let's keep it away from the best player on the court. You need to keep him honest. Otherwise, he can just start eating a lot of court and not covering his side. A little fortunate there that one goes in the net. That was in his put-away zone. Again, let's look at this. I like the idea of getting into the slow game, but this is hard to repeat. Look at where this ball's at as it's or look at where his paddle's at as it's dropping. He's hitting it as it's rising. Very hard to be consistent with that. When you're going to drop the ball, if you have time, you want to let that ball drop as you come up forward through that. Like that. That was beautiful. Let's look at that real quick. Small things, very small things. This ball is coming down from its apex, and he is going from low to high. This ball does have topspin on it, not because he flicked his wrist, but just because of the nature of how he hit it from low to high. He is able to hit that out of the air. But look at how it comes back. It's in his put-away zone, and that's something he should be able to put away as he continues to progress in his journey. Good-looking drop there. Big serve with lots of spin. So we know now that this guy does not trust his drops. He is a power player or a lobber. That's just a good serve. Tons of spin. Let's see what happens here. Again, you want big serves because of this. Look at where that ball lands. I think that ball lands directly on the kitchen line. He has the right idea. He is hitting it towards Alston because look at where he's at. Look at all the space that's back here. When you can, keep them back. In this case, it goes into the net. Great rally. Again, make him hit one more. Let's see what happens here. So this is hard to drop when your stance is straight up forward. You are really relying on all of your arm to do that work. And it's very hard to be consistent. Again, as you progress in your journey, I'm sure this will start coming naturally. But you want to have a closed off stance. And you want to move forward through that ball. That is the most repeatable action for a drop. Great serve. I like that two-handed backhand drive. Good shot. And this guy is just firing away from all angles. And they have a lot of topspin, so they're dipping below. I see why they have to hit them. Great shot. Beautiful shot. Let's see what happened here. Because I think he hits this below the level of the net. But look at his wrist and look at the paddle. It's going from low to high. He's able to stay aggressive with this and put a lot of shape on the ball and keep it in bounds. This player doesn't even move. Great shot. That might have been the shot of the match so far. Just out of bounds. Man, all these players have really good serves. Good try. Something I want to show, or maybe just look at. You see he's about to crush it. At this point, you need a split step. Alston's about to split step, you can tell. I guess his paddle is low. Not a lot you can do there. Good shot. Okay, so I see why that drive went so high. Okay, so the reason that drive went so high is because the technique looks a lot like the serve technique. If you see this, I like this because you have full control over your serve and the big serves have been working. You're getting favorable third shots. But with that being said, your drive technique cannot look like your serve technique. It's just completely different balls. You don't have control of how that's going to look. And this looks very similar to how he was serving. Very hard to stay consistent when you drive like that. Good return. Good two-handed backhand. Oh, good idea. Just doesn't work out. So the power game is working for these players in the backcourt. Great return. So what happens when you have a great return? And good eyes by these players right here. Look at how he's serving. He's falling backwards. He has no control over this ball, as evidenced by there. So your returns really do mean a lot, and they can change the tide of the game. And that was just a great drive. That was a high-level drive. So I don't know if he's hitting it as hard as he can here. The technique isn't very repeatable, but it works. Look at what happens here. I don't think this ball is super hard, but it is dipping. What makes a drive great is if it starts dipping as it crosses the net, which it does here. Look at where they are contacting the ball. Great shot. That's very hard to handle. Good drop. Goes into the net. Nice. Great shot. A lot of top spin on that ball. Just went through his legs. Clipped the net. Great drop. So why do I say great drop? They weren't able to get into the kitchen on this, but why was it great? Look at what he does as he recognizes that he has to hit up on it. They are both moving forward. And it's okay that you don't get up to the kitchen. You have to start learning to play in the transition zone, which is what they're doing here. He is low, ready for this ball. He gets it over one more time, and look, he's moving up. He's not all the way there. He's fine taking a 7th shot and getting this over one more time. Now we're looking for the 9th shot. It just doesn't work out that time. This is a good transition play. Just didn't work out for them. As they continue to level up, those will start hitting. That was a good teach tape. Again, these players, instead of going to the backhand, they wanted to run around it and favor that forehand. That's something that you need to look at. At this level, it's very easy to want to drive everything and hit your forehand. Start targeting those backhands. Good rally. Good rally. These guys do not want to lose. Good rally. Oh, that was unfortunate. I think that was the longest rally of the game. We'll have to go back and count that one. But this is a good game overall. So there you have it. Austin Pickleball and his partner lost to the other team in this gold medal match. But the good news is about this match is that there were a lot of unforced errors. So with that being said, the other team did not beat you. That is things that you can clean up yourself. With that being the return of serve, how you hit third shot. These are things that you can work on and drill on. And that alone, just minimizing your mistakes, will jump you into the next level. So I look forward to see how Austin Pickleball continues to improve. So if you like this breakdown, go ahead and subscribe because we will be doing another full match analysis very shortly. If you would like to submit your match analysis, you can reach out to me at Dink and Dissect on Instagram, and I would be happy to talk to you about that. So if you learned anything from this match, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.